First up, how do you pronounce your surname?
So it's actually just it's not my real surname. It's my comedy surname, Furnace. Just like Furnace, because my French name, no one is able to say it right. So
Can you give it a? Can you say
yeah,
it?
yeah, Fournier, Fournier.
Fournier.
Yeah, right.
What happens to the start of those letters? Is it a? How do you spell it?
It's Fournier. Do you want my bank details as well? And
So it's Four.
uh-huh.
So four,
Mm-hmm.
but it's do you push the F over like Fur?
No,
No,
it's just a four actually.
Four.
Yeah, four. And then Nier is actually Nier. So yeah, and every time I write it down, everyone's like, Fournier, for no, for blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna choose an English name because no one's gonna be able to say it right. And yeah, so I chose an English name, and everyone is like, how do you say your name? And I'm like, no, I chose an English name for you to say it right.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Because I was looking at your surname Furnace, thinking, I wonder how you say it in French, or what's the derivative of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, sorry, no mystery behind it.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I did choose a name that has the same Latin root to just to I don't know.
So Fourier,
Mm-hmm. Fournier.
Fournier means furnace.
No.
No. Okay.
It actually means baker,
Mm.
but the baker uses an oven, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that's just a shitty story behind my name.
No, it's not a
Nothing-
it's not a shitty story. I'll tell you why. Because interestingly, I'm Greek,
Mm-hmm.
and Fournier is that oven.
Yeah.
In Greek, oven is furno.
All right.
That's close, man.
Yeah, it's just like in Spanish actually.
What's in Spanish?
I think it's forno as well.
Yeah, there you
Mhm.
go. We're
Mhm.
very close.
Mm-hmm. So your actual real name is Forno.
No, Katsulis.
Oh,
So I
right.
cut it to cats. Yeah.
Okay.
But the Greek word for oven, because I grew up, with
Mhm.
Greek parents,
Mm-hmm.
get it out of the furno
Mm-hmm.
was get it out of the oven.
Right.
Yes.
Like a bun in the oven, blah blah blah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you, when did you get to Australia? That's what I'm interested in. Like, when did you arrive?
Right. I
Yeah.
arrived about 8 years ago, actually.
8 years.
Yeah. When I came to Australia, so everyone's asking me, why did you come to Australia? Why did you come? And I'm like, oh, it's because well, I lived in Paris when I was as soon as I reached 20, I moved to Paris. And
Okay, so where were you born?
so I was born in Tours, which is I see you're doing all the questions for my identity theft. Um,
I'm getting the picture that you're a rather paranoid individual.
A little bit.
Have you been burnt before?
Have I been what?
Burnt before? Has
Oh.
your identity been compromised?
No one wants to steal my identity. Like I don't have that much money, so
Yes,
there's
that's
really
right.
no point. Like
Yeah.
steal my identity, and you can't like imitate a French guy very easily either. So, but I was in Tours, and then moved to Paris when I was 20.
And before
And-
that, when you grew up in that, was that a picturesque, stereotypical French village that we can all picture and imagine?
Uh, no, so there was no croissant everywhere. There was no. I mean, of course, there's always like nice bakeries in France somewhere, but France is like all other globalized country. Like it's
Yeah.
turning more and more like
Mm.
any other city with like shops everywhere and shopping centers, and yeah, it still got it's like its very characteristic charm, right? But it's just evolving like the rest of the world.
Mm.
That was my first culture shock actually when I arrived in Australia because I landed in Perth, and I've been to places in Europe and South America or in Asia, but when I arrived in Perth, I looked around and everything was new. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like
When you
everything's
say
new.
new, you mean like the buildings, the
Mhm.
architecture.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
noticed that when I came back living from London for
Mhm.
10 years.
Mhm.
I realized what a young country. Like you see
Mhm.
buildings here in Brunswick, 1823, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's like so fucking. It's nothing in Europe.
But yeah, it's funny because you mentioned the counterculture shock.
Yeah.
So you go live somewhere else, and then you come back and you're like, oh fuck, what is this?
Yeah.
And I had the same experience because I lived in Paris for a few years, and then I moved to London, And stayed 4 years. Didn't do 10. Whereabout did you live in London actually?
I lived in southeast, so
Oh.
near Greenwich.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's called Eltham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yourself?
I lived everywhere in London. I spent 4 years, but I lived in like 8 different places. Like I kept getting evicted, and we kept getting like the worst stories.
Why were they evicting you for parties?
No, it's because like London is so bubbling up all the fucking time, right? And
Mm.
everyone is just selling their assets because they make so much money out of it.
Yes,
So you stay there 6 months, and
they kick you out.
yeah, they kick you out when they can find someone who can pay.
Higher rent.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So you bounced around from. So you lived in Paris, then you went to London, and then you went to Perth.
So wait,
Ah,
I went to London, and then after London, I decided to come back to Paris.
yeah.
And then I had the counterculture shock because I arrived in Paris and I realized, oh my god, all the Parisians are cunts. And so I was like, fuck, I need to leave this place. So
What made Parisians cunts? Is it the too many people in a city? Once you reach a
Mhm.
critical mass of a population in a city, they tend to become cunty.
I think it's kind of like I don't think so because if you look at London, there's also a very high number of people in London, but people are approachable. Like,
To an extent.
like you can go to a bar and chat up someone and it's fine.
Mm.
In Paris, you can't do that. When my first night in Paris when I came back from London, my friend and I, who lived in England as well, we got pissed. And I just chatted up that random guy, and I was like, blah, 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 I don't know, making some stupid joke. And the guy just took a step back and did the proper, like, Parisian, like, stare. So he looked at me from, like, head to toe, and he was just like, why is this person talking to me? And I was like, fuck, I'm back in Paris. So that's when I started thinking, yeah, I need to find somewhere else. And I picked Australia, but I could have picked everywhere else,
Yep.
really. But I thought Australia, I'm just gonna stay a year, do my working holiday visa, and go back home. But actually, yeah, I was like, actually, it's not so bad here. It's pretty cool. People are pretty chilled out and stuff. So I'm still here.
Yeah, you're welcome. So
Mm.
you liked. Do we really have a laid back culture that you think
Mm.
is at a different pace to the rest of Europe? Do you feel?
Um,
Are we slower, or is it more we choose to not let things get to us? Or
yeah, I think it's more the second thing.
yeah,
I don't think Australians are slower. Like especially in Europe, yeah, in France and other parts of the world of Europe, like you're gonna have like loads of people are gonna tell you, you shouldn't go too fast, blah 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 blah. Blah. But I think like Australia is pretty much it's closer to Europe culturally, I think. And yeah, what I really like about Australians is that you don't feel much judgment. I mean, at least in Melbourne, like
yeah,
you
but
can,
Melbourne, absolutely, yeah.
yeah, you can talk to people about anything, and people are pretty chill about everything. When in Paris, like you start talking about things, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, but why did you do that? And why did you do this?" And meh, 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 meh. It's just like, ugh. You can get
Really?
like, yeah, you can
So
get
you
like,
felt that in living in Paris?
yeah, you can get. You know what? Recently, I went back to Paris, and sometimes I wear like stuff that is pretty like visible, like I don't know, like a pink jacket or something, right?
Yeah.
I was wearing like crocodile socks with like crocodiles on it, and this guy, I was entering the convenience store, and that guy just looked at my socks, and just couldn't take his eyes off. He was just like, and you're like, what's wrong?
What
And
in awe or in phobia?
I, I, I don't know what. No, it wasn't more in phobia than in O. But it was just like it was trying to make a point. It was just like you can't wear this. This is
Right.
awful. You can't wear this. It's just like get a life, dude. Like I don't know.
So people tend to like hold you to a higher standard in Paris,
I
or is
wouldn't.
that what you felt?
I wouldn't say a higher standard. It's more they want you to conform.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Mm.
conform.
Mm.
So why bounce around from Paris to London to Australia? If without prying too much, what were you searching for?
Really, I don't know. I was just
Did you just know innately I want to live somewhere else?
mhm. um I was just like the idea for me was more like when I moved to Australia I was like 30, 31, and it was more like it was the last year I could do the working holiday visa. So I thought it could be a great experience. I should get on with it. and if it doesn't work out, it's just 1 year. I can always come back to Europe.
Mm.
So for me, it was just like the experience. I didn't have this idea. I didn't even know what I was going for. Like I know I watched Heartbreak High when when I was a teenager, and yeah, I listened to Kylie Minogue as well. But
Really?
but hey, I'm a gay guy,
Well,
right?
Kylie Minogue, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that makes sense. What about, did you like Heartbreak High, Alex Dimitriadis? Did you get a crush on him? Did you go, I got to move to Melbourne and meet more wog men?
No, I did not like Alex, whatever his family name was. No, nah, I don't know. My sister was really into him. Yeah, maybe I was in this secret because she's my twin sister, right? Maybe I was in this secret competition with her, and
Identical?
no, because she's a girl.
Right. Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm fucking
you're,
clueless.
you're not the first person to ask me this question. Don't worry about it.
fuck.
Yeah. Like everyone asks, identical twins, and you're like, well, she's got a vagina, I've got a dick. Like.
Oh fuck. So growing up in Paris, what's it like as a gay guy in Paris? Or Paris would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where you like started feeling pressure or no pressure? Like, was it comfortable?
You mean to be gay in Paris?
Yeah.
Yes,
I've got
I
a feeling it
know.
would have been fantastic. Like, no problem at all.
Mm-hmm.
Especially London. Like, some of the most craziest nights I had with my gay friends were in Soho. It just
Yeah.
never fucking ends.
Yeah. No, so there's a bit of that, but also, again, like France tends to be quite judgmental and stuff, and you can encounter homophobia. And I think like Paris, for example, is not a very secure city. Like if you wander the streets at night after midnight, I mean, it probably changed now, but I wouldn't go out like with my phone in my hand, for example, after midnight.
Really?
Or yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the thing as well is that the metro stops at midnight, pretty much. No, a bit later now, but yeah. After that time, like you have to either be in a bar or in a taxi, but not in the street. So I don't know. I've been victim of homophobia in Paris. During
That's the last place I'd think you'd ever cop it,
Yeah, I know, and especially because like there's this old cliche about French people being like, oh yeah, like they are all homosexuals and stuff. And
Yeah, just very liberal,
Yeah, but it's not like that. Like, I think we're the French in general tend to be more judgmental than Australians. And yeah, for example, like during the marriage equality debate in France, so it was in 2013. My friends and I were out, and there was some posters against marriage equality, and we started like taking them off because of like, fuck this cunt, and these four guys came out of nowhere, and one of them hit me.
Fuck.
Yeah, we managed to leave, and they left as well. But like I don't think that would have happened to me here in Melbourne. Like in Melbourne, I feel very safe at night. And
Were
stuff.
you in was the suburb you were in?
It was one of the poshest.
Oh, really? Because I was gonna
places in
say,
Paris.
if you're in Broadmeadows,
Mm-hmm.
at 4 a.m. and you were removing those posters, I could see you getting hit. But not in Brunswick ever.
Yeah.
But not in Toorak or as well. So
But,
it was an affluent area.
Yeah, it was like one of the most affluent areas of the entire country, really. And I think the idea is more like maybe because people are more affluent, they tend to be maybe more conservative as well, and so that's a problem for them,
Okay.
like queer people. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, like yeah, we tend to have this image like, oh yeah, in France nobody cares, but it's just as fucked up as everywhere else, really.
I saw today your president is changing the flag. Did you see that?
What?
Macron, he wants to go, he's using a darker navy blue, not a light blue. Yeah, like the French flag, it's like a bright blue. He's gone to a navy blue.
Really?
A lot darker.
Oh my god, I'm so up to date. Look at
It's
my-
like that, yeah. It's exactly like that. And I'm like, what the fuck's he up to?
I don't know.
Can I
haven't
get
heard
you to
of
be
it.
ambassador for him? Like, what the fuck is he up to?
I have
Why
no
do
idea.
that?
I haven't heard about it, but I don't know. maybe we need a darker blue.
That's it.
Yeah, like
Just a wardrobe change.
yeah, like everyone wants to, like darker colors, like you seem thinner in them and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. So did you do stand up at all?
In France?
Yeah.
No, it's
So
here
the
that I
bug
started.
really? Did you
Yeah.
ever? Did you want to do it? Like, were you the type of child that wanted to make your
Mm.
parents laugh?
No, not at all.
No.
I think you know what? It's funny because I think I wouldn't have started becoming a stand-up comedian in France at all, for two reasons. First, because I think the art scene might not be as approachable as here in Melbourne. And the second thing is because the stand-up in France is very different to the stand-up in the English-speaking world.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Because I saw. Have you seen Eddie Izzard? He translated his entire
Mm.
set into
But
French.
yeah, but he's British, right?
Yes.
So I think he did British stand up for French audience. But I think his stand up, my memories of stand up from an early age is from France is much more, yeah, like for example, they don't talk about sex that much, when sex is for me like a huge subject in my comedy.
Mm.
Yeah, it's only like when I saw Margaret's show like 15 years ago, that I was like, oh, actually, you can do this stuff on stage. And yeah, like I connected and I related because of all the stories that have happened to me. I was like, what she's doing, like that's something that resonates with me, right? And that's when I had started like having some ideas about stuff that could be performed on stage. But it's only when I came here in Melbourne that I saw an open mic that I was like, oh wait, I can actually do this. I don't need to.
Really?
Yeah, I don't need to be a professional. I don't need to prove in any way that I have a degree or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So all your if I got this correct, you wanted to do stand up because you found a way to express yourself
Mm-hmm.
with all these sexual experiences and encounters and opinions you had.
Yeah, I
You
needed
had
to
a
share it with the
vehicle
world.
to
Yeah,
get that across. Yeah, that is
That's
fucking
it.
funny, man.
Yeah, thanks.
So
The
never.
world needs to know.
So will you ever be fulfilled? Like, will you ever get to the point where you're like, I'm happy I've done all the sex material I've ever wanted. Now, will you move to another topic?
I don't know. Because the thing with sex as well is that you always get something new coming up, right?
Yes.
Like you have so many different STIs. Like you can do like 5 minutes on every possible STI so easily. Yeah, and it's funny because every time I think I have exhausted the subject,
Something else comes up.
exactly.
Like you told me before we recorded, you think you might have syphilis. You don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't know yet. So
Yeah.
a guy I hooked up with 2 weeks ago messaged me a couple of days ago saying, "Surprise!"
Come on, he didn't say. Did he fucking text surprise? No,
No,
way.
he didn't.
You'd fucking kill him if he said surprise. You'd fucking murder him.
No, actually, I would probably take it the right way. Like the thing
So
is,
was it were you fooling around drunk, like, and just like passion, one thing led to another? Like he didn't stop, like, because normally you'd be like, oh look, I gotta bring your attention to something before we fool around,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Oh no, it was
He didn't know.
yeah, he didn't know.
Oh right.
Yeah. So we
fuck.
hooked up, and the thing is, he may not even have had syphilis by the time when we had sex. So that's why I got checked on Friday. I got my test done, and yeah, the nurse.
What's it involve?
The test is just I think you have different tests actually possible for syphilis, but they gave me a blood test because I might be exposed, I think.
Yeah.
And they also gave me the injection because they might as well treat me now because.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Yep.
But yeah, the injection is not the most pleasant experience. Like they jabbed you in the ass.
When you say the ass, in the cheek or on the coccyx or
So the first time I did it actually was right in the middle of the butt cheek.
oh, that's all right, isn't it? It's nice and
No,
soft.
because
There's a lot of
Yeah, but it hurts. And then when you
Yeah.
sit down, you're like, ow, ow, ow.
well, yeah. So it
And,
was hurting for days.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
But this time they actually just jabbed me on the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was I could sit, but it would still hurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
How good is fucking medicine, man?
I know.
Because I just finished reading a book on the mutiny of the Bounty,
Mhm.
and heaps of sailors were getting syphilis because they were traveling to all these exotic places,
Right.
and the women were so sexually like
Mhm.
free. So
Mhm.
they just thought, and they were all dropping dead of syphilis.
Just for my own fantasy, like, are you sure the men when just not having sex together in the boat? Like,
Probably,
yeah,
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure there would have been some gay sailors back then. It would have been. I mean, they created mermaids for fuck's sake, so they were lonely.
Exactly.
So yeah, man, that's. So you got to wait. When do you find out? Is it like 3-day turnaround or?
So they told me it could take up to a week.
Yep.
So and also the injection may take a week to get rid of the infection. So basically, for a week, I can't have sex, which is fine.
Yeah.
I've done longer.
What's the longest you've done?
Without
Mine was
sex?
9 months.
I think it was the same.
After a horrible break. Was it a bad breakup you had?
No, sometimes it was just, for example, I went to South America for 6 months, and I was just traveling around, and I just didn't go to gay bars or anything like that, so didn't hook up with anyone for 6 months, and yeah, and then
Was that a walkabout too? It sounds like you didn't go to any gay because you're very like sociable. You're a very social butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you not go out to any bars at all? Was that more of a internal journey going to
Mhm.
Brazil? Like you just wanted to chill?
Actually,
Or
I
did
don't
you
know.
just want to go do some great coke?
Yeah, there was some great coke involved.
Absolutely.
My God, yeah, like if you like coke, like, I mean, I probably can't say, yeah, go do coke. No, I can probably not say that. But
Can you tell me about the coke in Brazil? Because you closed your eyes there, and I think you were reminiscing. How good is... So now we're going to talk about a comparison of Melbourne Coke versus Brazil Coke.
it was actually in Bolivia.
Yep.
My God, completely uncomparable.
Really?
Like, yeah,
Just-
but I mean,
Does it look white?
yeah,
It's the same color?
yeah.
Looks the same?
Actually, my first times doing coke with it was in London, and the coke in London is more yellow actually, probably because it's mixed with shit.
Yeah.
But the coke in London would actually make me fall asleep. Like it was just,
Asleep?
yeah, it was just like sometimes I had coke and I was like, what? Is this ketamine? Like,
Yeah, right.
yeah, but Bolivia, oh my God, like, yeah, bought it from that guy in a restaurant. He was probably like seeing like all the gringos coming from the hostel, and he was like, this is my target, and he was like, anyway, he gave me a bump in the toilet,
Yeah.
and like it was just a tiny bump, right? And I was already like,
So like a centimeter long line? Like
not even,
not
not
even.
like, it was a tiny bit, and I was already like, wow, completely like very awake, very awake. And then I came back to my friends, and they were like, "All right, you did the deal, la la la. Maybe we're gonna go." And I was like, "We need to go now. Like,
Yeah.
you want to try this? Like."
How long did that little buzz last? Because in Melbourne, it's a
Mhm.
25 to 30-minute ride, and then you got to top up.
Well, when we came home, we did a proper line, and for 2 hours, I didn't stop talking. I didn't even think about it.
Wow.
I was just like, blah, 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 blah.
Fuck.
And then like after 2 hours, we were like, shall we do another line? How long has it been? Oh fuck! You know what? We actually were staying in this hostel for like 2 nights, and we couldn't finish it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we were 3 people on it, and we didn't finish it.
Is this like 1 gram?
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
couldn't finish it. It was just too strong, and like I had
Fuck.
experiences in London and everything, right? I
Yeah,
did
sure. Me
different-
too.
Yeah,
you
right?
go through a gram.
Yeah,
you go
exactly.
through it. You start
Right,
at
right.
9 p.m. and
Yeah,
yeah, 4 in the morning. You're
That's
like,
it.
all right, that's it. Let's
yeah,
go to
yeah,
bed. Let's
exactly,
wind down.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Fuck,
couldn't
that's
finish it.
nuts.
couldn't finish
I've
it.
heard
Too strong.
stories, man.
Mm.
I've heard stories that it's amazing.
Yeah, but that's the
Ma-
thing
that,
as well.
that should be South America Tourist Bureau. Let's run the tour. We'll take care of your tourism
yeah,
ads.
exactly.
Just come and see proper Coke, Australia. You know, fucking all this bullshit about soccer and
yeah,
shrimp on
exactly.
the barbie.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
off. Just come and do proper Coke, Australia.
But
You
I
want?
think,
You like nose beers?
do you like nosebleed as well? Because like you're gonna do so much of it, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think to me like drugs should be legal. I mean, people are like,
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. I know the answer, but I have to ask you. Talk. You're the leader of the world. What's
Yeah.
your policy on drugs, and what drugs would you?
So the drugs I would make legal is the ones I like.
Yes.
Basically.
I think I would wage war on ice
Yeah.
because I work in a pub,
Mhm.
and there's drug addicts,
Mhm.
and the guys and girls on opiates
Mhm.
and heroin, they don't bother me. They
Mhm.
just sit slumped over in their chair. It's the meth addicts
Right.
that give me the grievances. They don't
Mhm.
fill out customer complaints forms.
Mhm.
They shit in the lobby before they let. That's their, like how you have to be burning glass Barbies to go. I'm going to take a shit in the foyer here. That's the war I would wage. That's the drug I would wage war on.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, I want to hear your answer.
Yeah, pretty much. Like for me, like I think many drugs should be made legal, and yeah, like crystal meth, I think it's way too addictive, and I've seen it actually like destroys some friends' lives. But I also know a couple of people who seem to be functional about it, but
They can
Yeah.
go and dab and come back. It's hard.
yeah,
You
that's
got to
it,
have a
yeah.
lot of fucking
Yeah,
control.
yeah, and they also want to get off it. Yeah, so that's the one. Like I've never tried it myself. Uh, yeah, maybe I don't know. You know what? Like I think if I'm about to die and stuff like that, like that's yeah, why not? Like I'm about to die, fuck it. But right now, like I don't feel the need for it. Um, yeah, it's just it doesn't seem to be like worth it, and also it's expensive,
Is it?
isn't it?
No. It's
No?
like at the pub where I work,
Mhm.
I've overheard people say it's like 0.1 is $20 and like a point of
Right.
a gram.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you burn that and that can last you for like a few hours.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, so yeah, it's pretty cheap actually.
Pretty cheap, and
Yeah.
they just have it in the toilet and then they buzz around like flies in the venue
Cool.
and you're on it. You can
Mhm.
just tell who's on it.
Mhm.
But I've just seen it erode
Mhm.
people's cognitive abilities. I've had people who were on ice at my work fall asleep at poker machines,
Mhm.
and when I wake them up, the first thing they do is like brush themselves off and in a panic, and I'm
Right.
like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "The fucking spiders, spiders." I go, "There's no spiders. You're just
Mhm.
buzzing. You're on a bad buzz. There's no
Yeah.
spiders." And like, "Okay,
Wow.
okay." And then I take them, give them a cup of tea, and they like a lot of sugar, and that sort of brings them back a bit.
Right.
But I've seen cognitive abilities erode on ice. Like one person would tell me two different stories.
Mhm.
It's like you're reading a book where every second line is a different story.
Right.
So they'll start off by going, "Oh yeah, I lost all my money and
Mhm.
I've got to put my laundry out.
Mhm.
And yeah, I came here with $40 and I stained all my clothes. I mixed my colors." And
Mhm.
you're like, "You're telling me two different things."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I'm a bit hesitant.
That sounds like me on G actually.
What's G?
GHB.
I've never done it.
I've only done it twice.
Is that the stuff? Is that nitrous oxide?
No, nitrous oxide
Oh.
is NANGs and it's laughing gas, and they give it to you in hospital, so it's good for you.
What relaxes your bumhole? My mates in London who are
Amol.
gay, yeah, they
Yeah.
take that one.
Yeah, I haven't done that much amol. I mean, like, of course, like if someone's got it, but I've never bought amol myself. Actually,
Yeah.
I've
Do you
never-
sniff it?
Yeah, you sniff it, and
It's just
uh,
like, bleh.
no, actually, it gives you a buzz for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It makes you like, I don't know. It's you've never done it.
No, never.
It's
Is it
just
you-
2 minutes.
Is it euphoria?
Yeah, it's some sort of
Like
you
happy?
feel like very hot and I don't know, buzzing for like 2 minutes.
Do you love the world like MDMA or no?
No. I think to love the world, you need something that you can ingest, and that takes a while to
Yeah.
to influence your system.
Yeah.
No, amol is just lasts 2 minutes, and you're just like and yeah, some say that it dilates your anus. I don't know. I don't need it.
Yeah, so I've heard stories on your Facebook which make me laugh that you're a bottom.
Mhm.
Have you ever been? Do you ever play top? Like, surely.
Like every maybe like when all the planets are aligned and like it takes a lot of I don't know, I must have topped like I don't know 5 times, maybe 10 times in my whole life. More
Yeah.
like 5 probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just not my thing. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
You just knew from way back when.
Oh
This
yeah,
is,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
what I'm a bottom, baby.
Yeah, very early I was like, it's in the bum.
Yeah.
That's where it works. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Topping is just not really my thing. But I think it's just like, for example, I don't drive. I don't ride a bicycle. I don't top either. I think it's kind of the same thing. You know, it's like you have to take charge. Ugh. No, I just want to be lazy. I just want to be like lying. But come on, fuck me, and let's get it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what age you realized you were gay?
Mhm.
And was there any push back from family? Were they
Mm.
supportive?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you told me moments where you experienced homophobia yourself,
Mhm.
but yeah, more so like, what age did you know? Because I have an opinion that it's inherent inside you. You're born, and it's the way you are. This is what
Mhm.
you just know when you know, and
Yeah.
you can't change it. You can't undergo electroshock therapy.
Mhm,
There's no
mhm.
cure for
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
It's just
There's
you
no
are who
cure
you
for it.
are.
Yeah, that's just your personality, part of your personality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think scientists have a consensus actually on the origin of homosexuality. Like some say, oh, it might be genetic, it might be something you acquire. No one's really like uh, uh, really agrees on what it is. But yeah, end of the day, you can't fight it. You can't get rid of it or anything, and it's not something you should have to get rid of.
Mm.
It's just yeah, you're not hurting anyone by taking cock up the ass, right? So
Like there
so
are other things to worry about in the
exactly,
world, you know?
exactly,
What a
exactly.
fucking waste of... Why was that? Do you think it was religion? Like, were they fearing that? Like, it's just... Maybe because we're just products of, a new century. Like, but back then, were they scared that
Mhm.
gayness was gonna be like spread like a disease,
Mhm.
like and turn people gay? Like, what the fuck were they worried about? I
Yeah.
think it was married to religion.
Mhm.
And I think they were so fearful of religion,
Mhm.
and doctrine in religion said homosexuality is bad, so they followed that.
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly where it comes from, but I think yeah, there's like probably a religious and or a cultural thing behind it. Um, but yeah, yeah, apparently yeah, like Christianity like started this whole thing pretty much. Because the Romans were like having lots of fun, right? Like you had a lot of homosexuality or bisexuality in the during the Roman Empire and stuff. But
Ancient Greece as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, lots.
yeah,
I mean, you
and
weren't a man in ancient Greece until you received man milk at 13.
uh-huh.
I remember reading that at school. I was like,
Fucking
wow.
hell.
And my teacher, because I went to a Greek school, they're like, don't worry about that. That's not going to be on the test. We're here to talk about the Turkish occupation of Greece and nothing else. I'm like, oh, great. They just taught us to hate Turks.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing about the great stuff of ancient Greece.
Yeah, of course, I didn't want you to know that.
No.
Because
They didn't want to expand our minds, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Their minds.
Yeah. But
But
see,
yeah.
I cut you off before. You were talking about
Uh,
the Romans and
Yeah, but Romans or as well, yeah, antique Greece, ancient Greece. But yeah, at some point, like Christianity arrived, and they were saying, oh, actually, like it's not in God's design or whatever,
yeah,
and suddenly, like it became a problem. Also, like when the British Empire colonized all these places around the world, they are the ones who actually enforced homophobic laws when it wasn't the case before. So yeah, um, it, I think yeah, it's all this historical stuff that has created this mayhem. I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly where homophobia comes from, but I mean we've seen, and I think we see nowadays that politicians like to target minorities, right?
yeah,
Because it's a cheap way to make votes, right? You
exactly.
can just say, this religious minority or this sexual minority or this or that. You can target them and then say, oh, look, we are normal, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, that's just a cheap way to make votes.
Yeah,
Um,
Scott Morrison's guilty of that with the refugees. He's just
Mm.
an example. Like he
Mm.
just puts fear. But we need refugees now because we've got a skill shortage.
Mm-hmm.
We need workers in hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
We've got no
Yeah.
one. They're all
Yeah.
overseas. They're stuck.
Yeah. The Australia's policy when it comes to refugees is like one of the harshest in the world.
It's
Like,
brutal.
yeah.
Yeah.
These
It's
people
very.
have been in camps for years.
I think there's a lot of Australians who, to your face, will say, "Oh yeah, we're open," but then will vote
Mm-hmm.
because the vote is high.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want.
Yeah.
But Australia's been a racist country for a long time.
Mm.
Maybe your experience is different as
Mm.
opposed to Paris, and I'm grateful that you had a more pleasurable experience
yeah.
here in Australia. But there was a time where Australia was a white-only immigration
Yeah,
policy,
the White Australia policy. Yeah.
and it's interesting to see how the economy was like interested in profit because in 1967 they were saying, "Oh, Australia's white-only except for Broome."
Mm-hmm.
Because in Broome, which is northwest Australia on the coast,
Yeah, I've been there.
it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
It's so
The
beautiful.
Beaches are beautiful.
Yeah, man, it's another level.
Yeah.
They had immigrants allowed to come in because they needed Italians and Japanese who were very good at diving for pearls.
Right.
And there was a lot of money in that economy, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's funny to see white Australia except for Broome.
Yeah,
we
exactly,
we
yeah.
need the fucking Italians and the Japs.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever
Yeah.
suits.
Yeah.
Have you travelled through Australia, the desert? Have you been?
Yeah. So
It's freaky, isn't it?
yeah, it's so funny because I took the GAN from Darwin to Alice Springs.
What did you take?
The GAN.
The GAN,
train?
right? Yeah, the
Yeah.
train. Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, when I bought the ticket, I was like, oh, it's a 24-hour journey. I'm going to be able to see all the landscapes and everything is going to be amazing.
Don't tell me you fell asleep. Bullshit.
Pretty much.
Did you get fucked up and just pass out?
I couldn't get fucked up on the train, but it was just like, I remember like watching outside and then like I was like, oh, it's flat. Oh, it's more flat.
Yeah, I know.
It's just more flat and deserted. It was just like, there was nothing happening. I was like, fucking hell, like this country is fucking huge and there's
Yeah.
nothing.
It's so barren, isn't it?
Mm,
Like when I first went there I did comedy out there in the mine sites.
right,
The
yeah.
first time I went out there, I was like, why does Elon Musk want to go to Mars? Because is this it? It's fucked up. There's nothing out there. But I don't want to do a disservice to the Aboriginals because what I found offensive was, and what they told me when I was there, the Aboriginal communities were telling me that what they find offensive is when people say, oh, Australia, it's a very inhospitable land.
Mhm.
All right, to us it is.
Mhm.
That's why 98% of us live around the coast.
That's right.
But a trained Aboriginal person could walk from one end of Australia through the desert and survive. They know what berries to eat. They know how to draw water.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very hospitable for them.
Mm,
We just decided it's inhospitable, but it
Yeah.
actually fucking isn't.
mm, yeah. With
So that's
our-
what I
yeah.
found amazing, how life can exist in the most remotest places.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just not compatible with the Western lifestyle.
No, it doesn't suit us. It's too
yeah,
hot
yeah.
for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's fucked.
Yeah. In Europe, like if you take a train for 24 hours around Europe, like you actually go like through so many different landscapes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, and also it's more temperate the climate, so you're gonna see like loads of forests. You're gonna see mountains. You're gonna see like all kinds of different things. But yeah, that's the difference.
Do you think you'll stay here in Australia full time to
I don't
live?
know. I'm
Is there
asking that
something-
question every day.
Really? Is
Yeah.
is there anything drawing you back to France?
It's like stand-up comedy, right? You ask yourself every day, am I still doing this? Like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I ask myself the question, especially because there's so many things happening right now in Europe. Like, you have like, politically speaking, like you have like the far right going very up in polls and stuff, and you
Wait,
also-
is this across Europe or just France we're talking about?
across Europe.
Really? There's
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a push for far right. Are they gaining votes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's scary to see, and I mean, I don't think that by myself I could change anything about it, but I don't know. I'm wondering if I have to go back and try and do something about this. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I have a little bit of an activist background. I was working for one of the main organizations for LGBT rights back in Paris. I was a volunteer there, so I wasn't doing much, right? But I was trying my bit to try and make things go in the right way. So when I see what's happening in Europe, I'm like, should I go and do things about this? I don't know. It's yeah.
It feels like a war effort. The war is calling you.
Yeah.
There's a water fight. It's interesting how it's plucking those strings inside you.
Right. Yeah.
So you have, if I dare say, you have a political aspiration within you. You think you could? Is that where you would like to inflict change?
I wouldn't see myself as a politician at all. But yeah, and it's not just the fight against the far right. It's also a fight against climate change, and that's global. It's something that's everywhere in the world that needs to be taken into account. And yeah, there's stuff to do as well in Australia, right? Like we've seen during the COP26, like Australia has not been like a push for a better policy when it comes to coal, for example. So yeah, there are fights that I can pick up here as well, right?
Yeah, can you tell me about that? Because I don't know a lot about it, but is Australia really lazy in climate change? Are we shit?
Oh, it's not
How
lazy.
bad
like,
are
it's
we?
It's like really against it.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Why is that?
basically-
Is that because we're making a lot of money from coal?
Basically, yeah.
So the money's good.
Yeah, the money is very good, but I think there might also be like some sort of geopolitics involved behind the whole coal policy, because it really gives an advantage to Australia on many levels. So yeah, it's not in Australia's direct interest to phase out coal, but actually it's wrong because Australia has other advantages, and one of them being that it's got like this massive desert, right?
Yeah.
Where you could like probably like invest in solar power so much. I'm not a energy policy expert in any way, but I think Australia has to look to the future. Coal is going to be phased out because it is just too dangerous for the climate to keep going, and we see already a lot of companies are moving towards more renewable energy sources. So yeah, I think Australia has a card to play by transitioning to greener energy sources, but it's not happening right now because there's this whole thing about coal. It's making money right now, and that's
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
yeah, there's something like that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it is broken. It is broken.
Do you know much about solar power? Like, can we generate enough power if we put solar panels, if indigenous communities let us, in vast square
Yeah.
meterage?
Yeah, there's also this question. Yeah. Well, it looks like Australia is one
Or-
of the places in the world where because it's a desert, it's very dry. You don't have many clouds. All this kind of stuff. It looks like one of the best places to get a lot of solar power. Then there's a whole question of how do you generate all that energy and make it go to where it has to go, right? Because Australia is so isolated from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different questions, but yeah, it looks like Australia has definitely assets to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the energy transition.
It seems like the Chinese are always a step ahead. Like I read the other day, because I'm interested in physics. They're creating a fucking sun, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Chinese are building a sun. Like
Yeah,
they're
like-
fusing hydrogen together,
Mhm.
and they successfully, for the first time ever in the history of trying to make an artificial sun,
Mhm.
they successfully fused hydrogen and got more energy than they put in. But it lasted only like a nanosecond,
Mhm.
and they're many, many fucking years
Wow.
away from it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that would be the most optimal
Mhm.
source
Of
of
energy,
energy,
yeah.
which because it's exceptionally clean.
Mhm.
And I know for a fact if China builds a sun, solariums are back. Like you can
Solarium.
solarium, go and sunbathe, have a little
Yeah.
Chinese sun following you, just get a nice glow.
Who needs an iPhone?
Yeah. I always look better with a tan. I'm more confident around women if I've got a little bit of an
Oh,
extra
yeah,
tan.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you work the same? Do you tan?
Look at how fucking white I am.
You're French. You're pasty.
Yeah. No, but I need to work on my tan definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, like China is on a technological level.
Yeah.
They're so ahead on so many levels. They are thinking that what was it again? I'm too drunk to remember. Sorry, I had 2 glasses. I'm already pissed.
I'm glad.
I was like bitching about drugs earlier, but I'm not any better. Yeah. Apparently, like recently, they've come up with this like extremely powerful computer.
The Chinese?
Yeah, and they didn't build just one; they built 2 of them.
Yeah.
And you know, if you manage to create a very powerful computer, then you can have a better calculating power and you can work out more stuff. So yeah, technologically speaking, like China is really ahead. Like it's really like leading the race.
So going back to Europe, you will go to Europe if this voice in your head
Mm-hmm.
for climate change and diminishing the right extremists
Mm-hmm.
gets louder and louder in your head, and you feel, look, I need to be doing something more proactive about
Mm-hmm.
my Europe.
It's possible, yeah.
And how is that voice getting louder as the days roll by?
Ye-
Oh, fuck, you are seriously questioning of leaving us.
yeah. I'm really,
Wow.
I'm-
8 years
yeah,
you're here.
yeah. But I would like to get my citizenship here first.
Yeah.
When I get it, I can make a decision. You know. Yeah, I really don't know.
How hard is it to get citizenship?
Yeah, so I applied a year ago and haven't heard from the Department of Immigration yet. I think it's also because of COVID.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not helping, but everyone I talk to, like, does take like 1 or 2 years before they process your application. My permanent residency as well took forever, but that's also because I actually have HIV. So the Australian government doesn't want to pay for my HIV, right? Because it's very expensive. So it took forever as well to process my permanent residency. So uh, the funny thing is that I thought the citizenship would be easier to get because the permanent residency basically gives you the right to stay here forever, right? So they know you're here, they know you can stay here. So I thought, oh, if I ask for citizenship, it's just a formality, right? Because they know I'm sticking around anyway.
Yeah.
But actually, no, you have to wait again, and this time they make you pass a test. You have to answer questions to prove your Australianity. So,
What are they? I've been to St Kilda Festival. I've passed down. I've blown a guy in
Yeah,
Brunswick Street
yeah.
at 3 a.m. I
You
don't
should
know.
let me in because I give blowjobs for free.
Yeah. Like, what's the fucking Aussie test?
Exactly, right? Apparently, the test is it involves questions like who is equal in Australia, men and women, or just men, or blah blah blah. Like it's got like these values questions, um, uh, but also there's apparently one year they had a question about who is the captain of the cricket team or something like that.
What?
Exactly, right? Who watches cricket? Like,
That's
I mean, a lot of Australians do. Okay, but
I don't really like cricket.
Yeah,
And
like
and to have that on as a question is
Mm.
fucking weird.
yeah, exactly, right?
I can understand which weird flavor are we infatuated with that we put on toast, and it's yeah, it's a love-hate relationship. All right, that's okay. Vegemite.
I
Or,
bought Vegemite twice in my life, and I think that's enough to qualify me as an Australian.
yes.
Right?
Do you
But-
like it?
You know what? At the beginning, I was like, "This is vile." Also, because I lived in the UK,
And now you don't mind it?
And now I'm like, "Yeah,
That should be the test.
yeah, that's it, right?"
You can stomach it.
Yeah, I can take it, and I
You
can
can
even
take-
say I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It gives like this little like saltiness to the bread and the butter.
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful.
Mm.
Do you live close by?
To here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in Collingwood.
Collingwood. You
Mm.
have to go. I'd absolutely. I really like your opinion on a croissant. I know. I know. I've just recently learned croissants aren't French. They
Mhm.
were developed by the Austrians.
Whoa,
Uh-oh.
okay, okay. I didn't know we were going to that subject. Okay, all right. Yeah, keep attacking my culture. All right.
All right. I think they're French because that's all I've ever known.
Yeah.
But I'd love your opinion on there's a French bakery,
Is it Lune?
Didier,
Didier.
on the corner of Moreland Road and Sydney Road. He makes the best motherfucking croissants I've ever
Right.
tasted. And he actually studied
Mm-hmm.
in a famous French Parisian bakery.
Right.
That's where he got his diploma from.
Oh.
And he looks like you, but in 40 years with a twirling mustache and a bit of a belly.
Yeah, that's
It's
me in 20
so
years for sure.
fucking It's so
Even in
stereotypical.
4 years, I think.
It's so stereotypically French,
Uh-huh.
but he makes wonderful croissants. I'd love to
Mhm.
see what you thought of him.
Well, Australia does have some good croissants. Actually, like you can find places that do really good croissants, but compared to France, they are like 3 times more expensive. I'm not
Right.
really sure why, but yeah, when I went back to France, like
Because they're cheap to make.
yeah, yeah,
I think we're selling a delicacy here.
yeah, 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 probably.
It's the
Or-
whole experience. Ooh,
Mm.
because I know people are like, you have to go. He's a real French baker, and I'm
Mhm.
like, what do you mean he's a real French baker? I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, you're right. He's even got the accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
So wait, he's actually Australian, right?
No,
No, he's actually French.
he's fucking French.
Oh, he's fucking French.
I
Yeah,
told
because
you,
he-
he's
yeah.
like you, but in 40 years.
No, because you said he got the degree there and everything, so I thought, he was Australian, so he moved there and
No,
to
he-
get the degree and
he
then
studied-
came back
Yeah, he studied bakery there, and
Mhm.
then him and his wife tried to live in Thailand,
here. Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't, so they settled in Melbourne, and now they fly to Thailand every few months, and he closes the shop. He sells like on Christmas, I think it was on 23rd of December, he told me he sold 693 croissants. That's
Wow.
in one day. This is a tiny shop as big as this studio. It's fucking tiny, and he
Wow.
pumped out that many. He's got a good
He's gonna have to
reputation.
do one more now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'd like you to try it. So, what about this argument about croissant is not? Dare I say it? It is
Is it what?
French.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, like all the cuisine in Europe is just like Europe is basically just a giant orgy
Yeah.
of cultures, right? Like all the cultures like interact all the time, and even just Europe, not just Europe, like even like southern and northern Africa and all these places.
Yeah.
We exchange culturally all the time. So there's no such thing as something that's purely French or purely whatever. So yeah, croissants are probably Australian. Please delete this from the podcast because they're gonna take off my passport for
They
sure.
will.
But yeah. And everyone in Europe as well has like their own way to make croissant. Have you ever had like Italian croissant?
No,
Don't go there.
I don't think I
Don't
would.
do it. Yeah,
It
no,
doesn't
don't do it.
work.
No.
It's like, would you?
Yeah.
You got to try a Chinese pie. Like,
Mm.
what?
Yeah,
no,
no.
no. I'll stick to Let the Italians do what they do, and
Mhm.
Yeah, leave it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. But Melbourne's got some really good croissants. I've been to places that have good ones, but it's just that it's 10 times more expensive than in France. In France,
Interesting.
like, I when I arrived in France, yeah, that was one of my first counterculture shocks, right? Like, I went to France, and first thing I did when I came back to France after 4 years in Australia was buy a croissant. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
just to
I
get
don't
your
know,
sense
yeah.
of nationalist
Yeah,
back.
it was just like like a reflex. And I got the croissant. And I was like, "Oh, this is good." And then I saw the price, €1.20, which is like I don't know, $2.
$2. I
Mm.
pay $4.50 for mine.
There you
each.
go. Yeah, it's a ripoff. Like
Mm.
in France, it's much cheaper, and I had it, and I was like, "Oh my god, it tastes good when it's cheap."
Yeah. Is there sacrilege for a croissant? Like I eat it with fig jam and butter. Is that okay, or am I
Whoa.
fucking it up?
No, I think you're fine.
It's
But,
okay.
But yeah, like in France we have like we have like a croissant jambon, so you put ham in the croissant and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we fuck it up as well if
fuck
we
it up
want
as
to.
well,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, cool.
Do what you like.
I will.
Mm.
Can I go back a bit and
Mhm.
talk about HIV because I'm really interested in that because
Mm.
I don't know anything about it.
Mm.
Because I think I've got a childlike reaction to it.
Mhm.
I hear HIV and I'm like, oh, you got AIDS, but I'm
Mm.
sure it's not the
Yeah,
case.
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I dropped that bomb like that so casually.
Yeah.
like
I was like, yeah, what does that mean? Does that mean your immune system is like waning or faltering? And how does that affect
Mm.
COVID? There's so much
Yeah.
to unpack
yeah,
here.
yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly.
But
You're
I'm really
absolutely right.
interested in just learning more about it.
Yeah, so I tested positive for HIV in 2013, right before coming to Australia. I was planned to come to Australia, and I just did an STI checkup, thinking just gonna get tested to make sure I'm fine, and before I go to the other side of the fucking planet.
Mm.
And actually, they came back with a result that was positive, which I really didn't expect. Like,
Does that freak you out? Like instantly, were you
yeah,
like me? Like, what is that? I've got to learn
yeah,
more about it
yeah,
now.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And were you like that fucking asshole? I'm gonna ring him.
No, actually, because you know what? Like, I think I've been safe with all of my partners, and I think I know who transmitted HIV to me. But you know what? He and I, we use condoms. It's just that what happened. So
Hmm.
I feel bad a bit about saying that because like a lot of people find security and feel good, about using condoms. And as soon as you say, well, you still have like a tiny, tiny, tiny little risk. Um, a lot of people, for example, don't use condoms to give blowjobs, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like this is how the virus got transmitted to me. The thing as well is that he uh, got HIV pretty much around the same time. So the theory is that when you get HIV the first time, when you just got exposed to HIV, the viral load in your system is very high. So you're more contagious. You're more likely to pass it on. And so in those 2-3 months during the first stage of the infection, where I gave that guy a blowjob without a condom, and that's probably what happened. The viral load was very high, and like your teeth are a fucking mess, right? Like there's
Mm.
always like cuts and shit from food or
Right.
whatever,
Yeah.
and so potentially that's how the virus found its way in my system. But yeah, I
And
have.
to, just to,
Mhm.
I guess to stick up for you, blowjobs with a condom are fucking shit. I used to do a joke about it, saying it's
Yeah.
like biting into a donut that's inside a plastic bag. You're not getting any sugar, baby.
That's it.
So what's the fucking point? Take it off. And
Mm.
so I could see the dilemma of
Mm.
what's going on. Like
Mm.
you really, it ruins the experience.
But
So anyway,
like I know countless people who've given countless blowjobs to guys without ever getting HIV,
yeah,
right?
that's the
Yeah.
law of probability, isn't
Yeah, the
it?
law of
It's just
probabilities.
the way it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So I happened to meet that guy who had just been infected, so his viral load was high. So it was probably what happened. But I have absolutely no hard feelings towards him because I know he didn't mean it.
Yeah,
And every time you give a blowjob to a guy without a condom, you know you're taking a risk, right?
yeah.
A risk that's supposed to be very low, but it's still a risk. Um, so yeah, I got HIV, and I tested positive right before coming to Australia, and it was just like, oh shit, what the fuck? But actually, uh, the doctors have been very reassuring straight away because medicine again has been doing a lot of progress, and
Mm.
now I'm taking a medication once a day, and
Is it a form of a tablet?
yeah, it's just a pill.
Yep.
Um,
What is HIV in the bloodstream? What does it do to your body? Is it attacking your immune defense system?
yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, HIV is like a super like spooky virus because it's not as contagious as COVID, right? COVID you can get it just by
Airborne.
breathing. Yeah, it's airborne. It's
Yeah.
COVID is like millions times more transmissible than HIV. But HIV, its specificity is that it attacks the immune system. So it attacks the very thing that's supposed to protect you
Yes.
against infections.
Yep.
So that's its main strength. Um,
And the tablet you take every day,
mhm.
what does that do? Like knocks HIV out a bit, like makes it dizzy, so to speak, for the lack
Yeah.
of a better
So
expression.
yeah. So if I understand well, I wouldn't be able to explain to you exactly because I don't know myself exactly how the medication works. But basically, it prevents the virus from being in your system. So excuse me. Every time the virus is duplicating in your system and roaming around, the medication prevents it from doing so. So the virus can't be spreading very much. It can't be like multiplicating or anything like that, multiplying. but it's still in your system. It finds like it's lodged its way in some cells and stuff, and it's here to stay. It's gonna stay there, and that's it. So there's no cure for HIV yet, but the medication allows me to live a perfectly normal life.
Wow, that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's no cure, but
Mhm.
there's a suppressant
Mm-hmm.
which renders it immobile
Yeah.
and allows your immune defense system to function
Mhm.
normally.
Yeah, yeah. That's it.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, COVID would have fucked you up.
That's exactly right.
Because COVID attacks you can't produce antibodies
Mm-hmm.
because it's new.
Mm-hmm.
Your
That's
immune
it.
system's going, I don't know this cunt.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Can't fight it.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. So, the AIDS is the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome.
Yeah.
So when HIV has taken over your system, your immune system is completely destroyed, and any new infection, your body cannot fight it because it doesn't have enough. The immune system is highly weakened
Yeah.
and cannot fight it. So thanks to the medication I take every day, like the HIV is under control, and it's not gonna destroy my immune system. Actually, I'm actually what they call undetectable. So my viral load is so low that even if they test it with a blood test, they can't find HIV.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
how successful the
Mm.
pill is
Yeah.
at suppressing HIV.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah,
When
so-
did this miracle pill come to market?
I think like it's been like 10 or 20 years actually. Like
Okay, so let's go back 20 years. What
Mhm.
are we looking at? 19. Yeah.
early 20,
Early 2000s.
early noughties. Yeah. So
Wow.
during the 80s, there was no medication.
Well, yeah. To me, Freddie Mercury, that horrible.
yeah.
Like that's the most saddest
Mm.
one for me.
Mm.
That's when it came to. Yeah, I was still too young, but as
Mhm.
I grew up, like 15, 16, I was like, oh,
But yeah,
okay.
like you're part of the same generation as mine, right?
Yeah,
Like,
how old
like,
are you?
I'm 38.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
45. So
45.
yeah, similar.
Yeah, pretty much
Sort
the
of.
same.
Yeah.
But you've grown up as well with the stigma of HIV, right? Like there's this horrible like story like
Yeah.
that it was killing all the gays and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So even for me, like when I tested positive, I was like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like,
Yeah, because you weren't educated
Yeah.
on it. You just shit yourself, don't you?
Mm.
You're like, fuck, I
Mm.
think I'm going to die. But it's
that's right.
it's nothing like that.
It's medicine has done a lot of progress, and now I can live a normal life with HIV. But we have to keep in mind as well that there are people for whom the medication doesn't work 100%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, okay, what's the percentage? Not to throw you. Yeah, like, fuck,
I
Johnny.
don't know the
Sorry,
exact
man.
percentage.
Yeah,
but
all
there's
right, but for
people
some people,
whom,
just-
the medication doesn't work 100%. So they still have some level of detectable HIV in their blood. It's usually still very low, and they are able to live normal lives and everything, like regular, to live healthy. But yeah, not everyone is equal in the face of HIV and medication.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's just lucky that it works for you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've had I mean,
Yeah.
based on your Facebook pictures, you're having a wonderful life. You're having a lot of fucking fun.
I'm trying.
Yeah. What's in because you scroll and you
Mhm.
see shit.
Mhm.
You go to. Are you in love with Wilson's Promontory? Because
Oh,
I've liked a few of your
Oh,
photos when
right.
you're there on the beach. Because as a kid, I used to go there a lot.
Mhm. Mhm.
Apollo Bay and all along that
Mhm.
Wilson's Prom. It's just it's magic.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
Did you? Yeah. So, are you drawn to there? What drew you to there? Is it?
Well, first of all, I think to me it's like the most beautiful place in Victoria.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful, and every time I go, it's always in summer. It's like sunny, it's hot, it's blah blah blah. You can go on walks and everything, but most of all, what my friends and I do, do you know there is bioluminescence in Wilson's Prom?
No.
No one knows. It's
Natural-
so funny.
naturally occurring.
Yeah.
Like the movie Avatar.
Yeah.
Really?
It's very faint if you compare, like there's places in Thailand or whatever. Excuse me, I'm burping because I've been drinking too much alcohol.
Enjoy.
But
Where? Where is it?
you know Tidal River?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like on that beach there,
Yeah.
like you go there. So I would always go to Wilson's Prom during new moon, so there's no light from the moon
Yeah.
coming out.
Oh, see, is it that faint?
Mm,
Right. What color does it glow?
blue.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of shade of blue. And
Nice.
you go as close to the water as possible, but where the wave breaks and retires, you stomp on it, and all the plankton that's bioluminescence will react. Sorry, I'm so drunk. Will react to your stomping, and will glow. And it's amazing
It'll
because
glow a brighter blue than the faint one that's undisturbed.
yeah, it will
Nice.
be like it
like
will look
blue,
like
like I can't find a vein blue, like nice blue. Like it's a gorgeous bright blue.
it's very faint. It's very faint. But like if you walk along the water,
Fish on heroin going, fuck, man, we got to go out to
yeah,
sea.
let's do this. But it would be like tiny stars around your feet.
That's nice. And are you
it's so
fucked up
pretty.
as well? Like, you look like you would take a few
Yes,
mushrooms.
yes.
Because
So,
I would. You know what? I'm gonna put that on my fucking to-do
Mhm,
list, man.
mhm.
Tidal River
Mhm.
with some mushrooms.
During a new moon.
Yes.
On a new moon?
New moon. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
can see the light.
Yeah, so my friends and I, like, we would go there, take acid during the day, and then in the evening, like, we would go check out the bioluminescence, and then we just lie down on the beach and take ketamine and
Nice.
look at the stars, because the stars are also fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's
I've-
different.
yeah.
I realized that in the outback.
Yeah, you have no idea how many stars there's up there. Like, there's so many, And yeah.
So many.
and the drugs just make it so much better, right?
Yeah, it magnifies. Like, if you've never taken drugs, it's like there are so many stars,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you take drugs, you realize there are so
That's it.
many fucking stars, man. And then I always we'd get fucked up, look at the stars, and then we'd always start talking about aliens and
Right, that's
where
right.
the fuck
Yeah,
are
yeah,
they? And I remember reading this wonderful quote that
Mhm.
like we're either alone in the universe or we're not, and both are equally terrifying.
That's right.
And I love
That's
that
right.
shit,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because if we're alone, that means
what the fuck is going on? We must be an
Yeah.
experiment. Like,
yeah,
really?
yeah, and the conditions out there must be very difficult to thrive, right?
Yeah, man. Like, surely not.
Mm.
I think not.
Mhm.
I think there's
The universe
life.
is so big. My theory as well is that there is life out there as well.
Yeah.
But is it like intelligent life like us? I don't know.
I think somewhere there has to be. I
Mm.
remember reading this quotation in National Geographic where the Hubble telescope
Mhm.
zoomed in on a black point in space, and it left its telescope in that one spot and focused on it intently for 4 days to allow the light to fall on
Mhm.
its lens.
Mhm.
And this area in the blackest of space was so small, it was akin to holding a grain of sand on your forefinger and just staring at that and then magnifying it up. And they found 200 galaxies.
Yeah.
And in each galaxy, there is, of course, as you know, over 400 billion
Mhm.
stars.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's crazy. Like the universe is fucking huge, and there's
Yeah.
so many stars and everything. So definitely there must be, like, if it happened here, it must have happened somewhere else.
and getting back to your drugs should be legal, this
Mhm.
is where I think you need. Oh, look, there needs to be an institution where you take mushrooms under supervision
Mhm.
and have these realizations, because it changes your perspective of
Yeah,
life. Like,
yeah.
why do I need to work so hard? Why can't I just appreciate what I have and ponder those things rather than have goals and ambitions and I must achieve this and I must achieve that and
yeah.
I've got to beat that person? Why
Mm.
do you have to,
Yeah, you have to see the bigger picture.
you have to, because it's
Mhm.
moments like that that you realize, holy fuck, man, I'm part of something special. I
Mm.
can actually understand that
Mm.
I am so insignificantly small
Yeah.
in this vast cosmic fucking soup.
Mm.
And then you're like, all right, shut up, pass the joint. You fucking don't, when you talk, You can't. You got to pass the joint. You're
That's
talking
right.
and you're not passing it, and it's
Yeah.
burning.
Oh my god, I have a friend who does that all the time, and I'm always like, "Come on, pass a joint, pass a joint."
They just talk shit. That's me. Just hurry the fuck up and pass it. Pass it if you talk. So yeah, I like Wilson's Promontory as well, man. I think it's wonderful, and every time because I love the ocean, I'm drawn to oceans. Maybe it's my Greek ancestry.
Yeah.
We are sea people.
That's right.
But yeah, it's Wilson's Promontory. They tried to colonize Victoria via Lorne and Wilson's Promontory, and of course they are some of the roughest oceans in the world. And there's so many shipwrecks there.
Right.
So many souls have been lost there, man.
Yeah.
Like thousands, all setting off for a new life from Ireland, from England, and just falling aground, shipwrecked in Wilson's Prom.
Yeah, like, it's funny because
And indigenous people laughing, going,
revenge. when I came to Australia, like I was like, oh yeah, I'd like to live by the beach. I love the beach, right? And somehow I decided to live here in Victoria, where like the beach is like fucking awful. Like the water is like super cold.
I do swim in it, but I do
yeah.
know what you mean.
Yeah, like it's so cold. Like why didn't I choose Brisbane or something, right? Like.
Yeah, I know. But you would have been surrounded by fucking rednecks. So you're better off in Brunswick and Collingwood and Fitzroy. Just wonderful liberals.
Yeah.
They're just too closed-minded. The sun's out, but they're closed. Their minds.
Yeah, I keep telling my friends like we need to swap Sydney and Melbourne. Like we should move all the Melburnians to Sydney and vice versa.
Just for a trial. And then never swap back.
Yeah. Just like they know it. But my friends were saying, no, it wouldn't work because if we go to the beach all the time, we're not going to be creative or interesting.
Yeah,
so
maybe. maybe. Do you like Sydney? Because a lot of... do you know Mark Twain?
No, I haven't read it.
Yeah. Mark Twain said one of my favourite quotes when he visited Sydney in 18-something. He said, God made the harbour, but the devil made Sydney. Because he hated the fucking people. He thought they were pretentious, snobby, just...
It's such a beautiful city.
Fucking gorgeous.
It's fucking gorgeous. Like when you compare to Melbourne,
it
like...
shits on it,
Yeah,
dude. It's like the ugly... We're the ugly sister.
Yeah, exactly.
And we know it. We're cold, withdrawn.
Cold, yeah. Like
we're
Melbourne
gross.
is like probably one of the ugliest places in Australia.
Well, it's a flat grid.
Yeah, it's just like...
We've got a mountain, but it's a pimple. Like, Dandenong. And they're all scumbags in Dandenong. Oops.
Sorry, audience. But, Melbourne is like, doesn't compare to Sydney at all when it comes to beauty. But again, like my friend said, like, it's just like, for example, New York, right? New York is like, this is where things are happening with Los Angeles.
Yeah.
In the US, like, New York is like, it's fucking like they have blizzards every year. It's fucking awful to live there, but this is where the magic happens.
Absolutely, New York is beautiful. It's just it's multicultural. It's not a real representation of America at all.
No.
A real representation of America would be the Bible Belt. You know,
Yeah.
where y'all not welcome here.
Did you perform in New York?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how was that?
Wonderful, fantastic, but a severe class system.
Right.
You're either someone or you are not. Very difficult to make progress on your talent alone.
Right.
So I was put off. I stayed there for about 6 months. I managed to do a spot before Dave Chappelle went on stage. He rocked up to a club and I met him.
Yeah.
And he was very humble, down to earth, wonderful man. And the comedy club promoter said, Dave Chappelle's going on. And then Dave Chappelle said, let this, what's your name? Johnny. Johnny, you go on and do your thing and bring me on. So I'm like, I'm taking this as a support. So now I'm like, I'm supporting Dave Chappelle. So I took it. So it was wonderful. But outside of that, it's very difficult to make progress on talent. You have to be someone. And that's where I bumped into another comedian, Brendan Burns, who's very popular in the UK. And he said, go to England. They reward talent. You do there's a
Mhm.
structure, a progression. You
Mhm.
do 10 minutes. They like you. They invite you back, and they start paying you. So I started getting
Wow.
paid within 3 months, and I could make a
Wow.
living in England.
Mhm.
Very easy to make a living in England as an unknown comedian, head down, just working. Very difficult in America.
Mhm.
Usually, comics do the college circuit in New York. They leave New York City and work the circuit and then come back to go ta-da to all the clubs. And the clubs go, nah, not yet. So back out you go.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny that what you said about England actually, because yeah, as a French person, right? Like I have a historical rivalry with the Brits, right?
I
Uh,
guess so, yeah.
but what I found about the Brits when I lived there is that they have worked out so many things.
Mm.
Like they have worked out so many things, and I'm so pissed off that they Brexited, right? Like they came out of the EU. I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? Like,
They're fucking
yeah,
regretting it.
yeah. You think?
Oh, yeah, they can't
Mm-hmm.
get KFC chicken. And I know most Poms love their KFC before on football game day.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get KFC, so like they've closed chicken shops because something with the visas
Mm-hmm.
and lorry
Yeah, yeah,
drivers,
yeah,
as
yeah,
they call
yeah,
them,
yeah.
truck drivers couldn't go across.
Mm-hmm.
So the truck drivers were like, "Fuck it, I'm not going to do the channel crossing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get a different service and I'm gonna do mainland Europe."
Yeah.
So because it was difficult, they had to apply for more paperwork for
Yeah.
England.
Yeah.
So they're regretting Brexit because the Colonel, no
Mm-hmm.
chooks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's such a mess. Like,
I was in England when they voted for Brexit.
oh, so it was because of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember waking up at 10 in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and seeing the result.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being upstairs in my apartment and I was
Mhm.
like, no, they didn't.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is going to be huge. And I
Yeah.
turned on the TV and it was massive. And
Yeah.
apparently, the word on the street this is what the word on the grapevine was. Boris Johnson didn't want Brexit to go through. He
Mhm.
just politicized it and
Yeah.
pushed for it to obtain the conservative votes
That's right.
to
Yeah.
to win them over, like you said
Mhm.
before, just to get votes.
Mhm.
But when it backfired, he had to see it through to fruition as much as he didn't want to
That's right.
at the time as Lord Mayor of London.
Mm-hmm.
I was there when he was getting around with disheveled hair on a push bike, making himself the cool dude. When I really knew he's just a fat cunt and he's an arsehole. He's a Tory prick.
Yeah. He's like, it's really. He doesn't have a vision or anything like that.
No, man. The
He-
best person for the UK was Jeremy.
Mhm. Yeah, but he went through 2 elections and he couldn't get elected.
No, he couldn't because
Mhm.
What did they do? Was it who we talk? Jeremy Corbyn? Is it?
Mhm.
Yeah, they said that they made him out as anti-Semitic,
Mhm.
and
But there was issues in the party. Like there was stuff that was happening, and like every politician have to live with their legacy and whatever they did or did not do.
Mm.
And yeah, if you fuck up just even a little bit, they can use it against you. And yeah.
Could you be a politician? Like I know, you couldn't. No. So
No.
you'd rather be an activist, but outside the
Yeah.
fringes of politics.
You have to be clever to do politics, and
No,
you
you-
can't do drugs either. So
Look, you can do drugs. Like if you get elected in say 20 years, the world's going to be a different place. My
Mhm.
mum and dad would have passed away,
Mhm.
so it's okay to take. You know what I mean? I'll be the 60-year-old going, "Oh,
kill
vote for
your
Julian."
parents.
Yeah.
Drugs will be available.
Yeah. I'd vote for you in 20 years as a 60-year-old man because I'm like, well, I realize what drugs are,
Mhm.
but that's the old generation. But I
Mhm.
couldn't be a politician for the just the amount of conniving and backstabbing that goes
Mhm.
on.
Yeah,
Just
there's also that.
the,
Yeah.
the fucking dirt.
It's Game of Thrones.
It is.
The political world is basically Game of Thrones 24/7.
I know it's obviously sensationalized, but there's an element of truth. I don't know if you've seen House of Cards on
No, I
Netflix.
haven't.
Yeah. That is pretty much, sensationalized a lot, but it goes to show that there are elements of truth that something happens and a politician will hold a bit of information to throw it back at you and burn you.
Yeah. Like you're not allowed to make any mistakes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So anyway, where were we? Wilson's prom. I don't know how we got to that. But yeah, that's right. Yeah, Brisbane.
Mhm.
They've got the weather, man.
Yeah.
Do you know that Melbourne is in the middle of Darwin and the Antarctic?
Oh, really?
So when you see it like that, you think that's why we're so cold,
Mm-hmm.
or we have both extremes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like the summer can go up more than 40 degrees,
Yeah.
which I had not experienced in Paris. But personally, I love it. I love the hot weather. Walking around like in my singlet or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what I love. But yeah, Antarctica as well. Fuck that. Oh my god. Like the water from the beach. Like every time you go into the beach, like your dick immediately diminishes because
Yeah.
it's just like
It's-
the water is so cold. Woo!
Where did you swim in here in Melbourne? Or where have you?
Yeah, Half Moon Bay.
Yeah.
And I think I've been to Altona Beach once. Maybe
Mhm.
I definitely picnicked there, but yeah, whatever.
Even in the depths of summer, you found the
Mhm.
water too cold for your
It
liking.
is. Oh my god, it's
Oh,
so fucking
fuck.
freezing.
Yeah,
Like it comes straight from Antarctica.
it does.
Yeah. Like yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
it
When
does.
when in France we have a lot of coasts as well. In France,
Yeah,
we have a quite a big like just like Greece. Like we have a lot of history with sailors and of course destroying half the the countries around the world with the whole
Yeah.
colonization history. But yeah, like the water in France can be like beautiful. It's yeah, you dive in it and it's just like you can't feel anything. It's just,
really. Where's a
yeah.
good beach in France? Like if I'm ever there,
One
a
of
beach to remember.
my parents would always take us to Oléron Island, which is like west. Yeah, pretty much in the middle of France, west.
Yeah,
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful beaches there and stuff. But of course, everyone is gonna tell you, the Riviera and the southeastern coast.
that's where I was blown away. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nice
Mhm.
and Marseille.
Mhm.
Well, I fell in love with Nice, obviously.
Mhm.
How could you not? But
Mhm.
that was some of the most wonderful water I've
Mhm.
been in.
Yeah. I haven't actually swum in with Nice or Marseille. But do you have to like you have like some beaches that are actually private and you have to pay there?
I didn't pay. It was public. But this was 1998.
Mm.
So maybe it's different now. But it was a pebble beach.
Oh right.
And Monaco was around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is Monaco?
It's basically the
Is it
tax
French?
heaven. It's basically the tax heaven of France.
So
Like-
if I have an army and I attack Monaco,
Mhm.
will France come and defend it?
Yes, there is an agreement. Actually, you know, the president of France is the co-prince of. No, sorry, it's Andorra. It's not Monaco.
Andorra.
Yeah, Andorra. Yeah.
I thought Andorra was a world in Star Wars, but it's you, but it's fucking real. It's
Yeah.
it's a dot between
Yeah.
Spain and France.
Yeah,
What
but
the fuck is that?
And the French president is the co-prince
Of Andorra.
Yeah.
All right. There's too much going on here. What the fuck is Monaco first?
Well, Monaco is just it's just another dot. Which you have all these like micro republics.
But
in,
it's cut
in
away
Europe.
from France.
Yeah.
They have Monaco's got its own flag, its own anthem.
Yeah. But basically, they have like it's this tiny piece of land where there's nothing. They don't produce anything. They don't do anything special. All they do is that they have cheap taxes, and so all the rich people just put their money there. That's it. And you have you have a few of those in around Europe, like.
But you can't just live there. Like you have to apply to live there, and you have to be married to someone for 8 years to live there.
Ah.
It's unless you have $500,000 in your
Mhm.
bank account, then you can. Well, yeah,
If you have money, you're allowed in.
Yeah.
If you don't have money, fuck off.
like probably everywhere in the world. But I found that surprising.
Mhm.
But-
Yeah, like Europe. I think Europe is like this big mix of completely different countries,
They're all the same.
but they agree on the background.
They
right?
agree on it. Yeah.
It's just they say it in a different way. But
All right, so Monaco is its own country, but if anyone invaded it, France would send an army to protect it.
So I'm not sure about Monaco. I think Andorra, we have a we definitely have a duty because the president of France is also
Co-prince.
the co-head of state of Andorra. But Monaco, I don't know. It's a bit blurry, but probably all the rich people in France have money in Monaco and would pressure the French government to do something about it.
Money talks,
Right,
baby.
right. But also, like, why the fuck would you attack Monaco?
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to work out who's where its loyalties lie and
Mhm.
who will come and protect it.
Money.
Money, yeah.
That's-
All right. And
yeah.
Andorra, is that the same thing? Another tax haven.
Yeah. All these small republics, that's all they have. That's the only way they survive. Is just by being tax havens.
Yeah.
And you have a few of them around Europe.
Mm.
But it's funny because like now like there's pressure and there's all these things happening as well, like on taxes. So yeah, for example, Switzerland has to cooperate with Europe way more now than it used to like 15 years ago.
Oh, I thought you meant like 50s or like 100, like being
Mhm,
neutral
mhm,
in the
mhm.
war.
Well, they will keep neutral
Right.
whatever happens, but when it comes to like secrecy regarding bank accounts and stuff like that, they have to
Divulge.
they have to be more cooperative now. I don't know if it's like a full disclosure and stuff, but they have to they have to they have to be nice.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. That's fascinating, man.
Mm-hmm. It's so complicated. Europe is like so complicated. It's funny because, as you said earlier, like it's all the same, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much had the same history.
Very much so. It's
Mm.
it's intermixed. Like they're all connected somehow. Like I know the Greek Revolution against Turks was inspired by the French because the French inspired the Greeks to
Mm.
rebel and
Mm.
stand up for themselves because a lot of money was leaking to the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they were responsible. Like the Greeks often say, we owe a debt of gratitude to the French because they also assisted them, the navy.
Mhm.
And then there's of course, Napoleon with England at the time, which is I find one of the most fascinating periods of history.
Mhm.
I don't know what attracts me to that. I don't know, it's interesting. I was chatting to Dave Hughes and he was reading a book on Hitler. And I said, I just finished a book on Napoleon. And I was like, what is it about that? And he's like, I think people who had nothing that came to power from nothing, just that fascinates me from a psychological perspective.
Mhm.
And how
Mhm.
one man could affect drastic change
Right.
across an entire continent.
Yeah. It's crazy, like how the willpower of one person can really upend like so many things and the lives of so many people.
I know. It's like Hitler got around listening to Anthony Robbins when he was a young man. like
Right.
like the tapes. And, do you know Anthony Robbins?
No, but
He's like
a
this motivational speaker. Yeah, he's just a fucking idiot. He's got this big jaw. He reminds me of Stan Smith from American Dad.
Uh-huh.
It's just, protruding jaw. And he's like, you can do it. You can do it. I'm like, enough of that. More mushrooms for you.
But if you look at like Hitler's speeches, right, that's pretty much what he does, right? He's just like motivating the whole country, like
Yeah.
in a very wrong direction. He just had this power over people. It's crazy. It's scary. We are so weak. We are so feeble. Like anyone can turn us around.
Sometimes I think if Trump
Mm-hmm.
was eloquent
Mm-hmm.
and charismatic, so take the charisma from Obama and shove it inside Trump,
Mm-hmm.
then you got someone dangerous.
Yeah, but I mean, Trump was already dangerous.
Yeah,
I think.
But he
But
was
with the
big,
power of Obama, like if the two crossed some way,
yeah,
it would
like
be
in a parallel universe.
yeah, if they had a kid somehow, like
Dear
the
God.
top, who's the bottom?
Trump will be the bottom.
You think?
Yeah.
But how would Obama top that, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna take you into the ground, boy. Do me like a pig.
No, I wouldn't bottom for Trump. Like, I've had sex with all kinds of guys, but Trump, like, no, I can't.
What is your type of man? For me, it's in terms of women, attracted to powerful women.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, that's interesting. I'm actually a sub. I like submitting in sex.
So you're being the submissive one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I tend to like older guys and stuff. So yeah. Like when you talk about power, that rings to me as well. But that's funny because I had this conversation recently with someone that, yeah, comedians, um, like a few comedians like this whole like domination submission thing.
Why is
And
that?
well, someone was saying that apparently like public people, because they have not don't necessarily agree with this hypothesis, but because they have like so much power over the crowd,
Ah,
they want to pay back somehow by submitting to someone. But I don't know. I feel like
I can attest to that because
Mhm.
when I had a radio show and
Mhm.
we had this kinky talk topic,
oh yeah.
and we got a caller from an escort,
Mhm.
and she said that she got used to get paid money to shit on the chest of these high profile men, and most
Right.
of them were politicians and lawyers.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
positions of power.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
wanted that power rendered,
Mhm.
taken away from them.
Oh my god. Oh, do you think Trump get shut on? Oh.
I think we'd all like to shit on him, but I don't think. Yeah, I don't know what is it. I think he's
If you can on top of that
I
pay
think-
me.
I think Trump would be a dumb
Mhm.
fuck. I
Mm.
think he would just grab the pussy,
Mm.
like bend her over, fuck her, be done in 10 seconds, and then think that was amazing and walk away. Go,
Yeah.
you like that, didn't you? You'll
Yeah.
come back for more. You know, and I think in his mind it would be
Yeah.
amazing sex.
Yeah. But it's totally not.
Probably she, because I don't. She
Yeah.
doesn't look happy.
Mm-mm.
What's her name? Ivanka.
Melania.
Melania. Ivanka.
Ivanka
That's
is
his
his
daughter.
daughter.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to fuck his daughter.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah. He
so-
was like, "Oh, my daughter is a piece of ass." And you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
What the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like go to Tasmania and say that.
Oh, Melania. Yeah, there was this movement, Free Melania.
I saw that.
You have Free Britney and Free Melania.
She was dead behind the eyes.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know. She knew what she fell into. I mean,
Apparently, she didn't want him to be president. She was like, I don't want to be fucking first lady.
because it's
Like-
embarrassing.
yeah.
She has to say, yeah. Like, imagine your boyfriend was an idiot, and you're like, oh, he's got money, fuck it. And all of a sudden, he's on TV every night, and you have to stand next to him. I'm like, Julian, what have you done?
Yeah, like, oh my god, why
Just
am I
gone for the
here?
money.
I only signed up to be in a penthouse in New York. Like, why do I have to do this shit now? Like,
Exactly. Oh fuck, man, we've been going for ages.
Have we?
We should wrap this up. Yeah, it's
All
like an
right.
hour and a half,
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah, wow!
even
That's really
more.
cool.
So yeah, man. Is it okay if I tell people to go and watch Faggot on YouTube?
Absolutely.
If you want to see more of Julian, that's where
Mhm.
you can catch him. Yeah, get a good taste of what he does, and
Taste my spaghetti.
he's in an amazing outfit as well.
Yeah.
Like, did you fucking make that?
No.
Did
I
you take
bought
a
it.
time machine back to
No.
1980?
No, I bought it, but now I look at it and I'm like, I could do so much better than this. Is it?
No, it's all right. It suits your character.
Thanks.
Good stuff. All right, Julian. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
See you,
I've
buddy.
had a really good time. Bye.